Yeah, we stand on the business. Yeah, we stand on the business. Marble floors when I'm dripping. Marble floors when I'm dripping.
Lulu the bear rockin' ready. Independent and ready.
Standing outside of heavy to weight, but I carry the load.
Lulu the bear rockin' ready. Independent and ready.
Family tight, we don't move alone. Building the castle
So
on
I
top of
fucking
the
song.
stone. Look at the layout. Study the game till it pay out. Racks. Snakes in the grass, I'ma stay out.
Hey, what is up, y'all? So check this out. This is season 3, the beginning, the brand new level of Lulu Dream Entertainment Radio. So today, I'm just going to kind of lay out a little format and kind of discuss a few things, and then we'll get right into the nitty gritty of this. So first off, I want to shout out to my partners at the city of Philadelphia. You guys are amazing. Thank you guys again for allowing me to promote you guys. Also, I want to send a special shout out to SEPTA. Check this out, y'all. If you out, drinking with your friends during the weekends, whatever, instead of causing accidents, man, get on a ride to SEPTA. These guys, they'll help you get anywhere you need to go. Okay. They're pretty cheap too. They help you kind of get throughout the city, man. So shout out to you guys, especially. You guys are amazing sponsors. I also want to directly shout out to the co-owner, Jonathan Weeks. He currently isn't present during this nice beginning of the new season. However, I will be bringing him in just to kind of get his little words and see what he's got to say and what he wants to do. Now, in case if y'all didn't know, we have a wonderful city out here. These guys, they've helped us kind of move through the process for being a small business out here and to help us kind of get boosted up so we can actually do the things we need to do. Now, just so you guys understand it, number one, yes, we're live on Facebook, and this is definitely the beginning of that new season for us. And we are currently live on Facebook and YouTube, both simultaneously. So, beginning of the new season. Okay, so how do I put this out here for you guys? So last season, we kind of did this whole thing, education-wise, being able to teach you guys how to be, bring your music up to the next level. Okay, this was kind of like the teaching of this part of it. So if you're an artist out here that is unsigned, that has no idea how to manage the kind of pathway that you need to go through to get your music out there and to be able to get paid for your music and be able to promote your music, check this out. Social media is become this big thing now, so you can actually do all your promotions online if you wanted to, and that's okay. But that's not just one of them. You have to be able to get your name out there at some point in time, obviously. Part of that is bringing people into kind of what you do in that dynamics of exactly who you are as an artist. Okay, so if you guys have any questions about that, go ahead and jump over to either one of my individual page, which is Lacey on the Mic, or you can jump over to our brand channel, which is Lulu Dream Entertainment, which is currently live streaming right now on YouTube. And you can go over there in the education section. You can actually pull up those classes, and it teaches you how to spot the scammers, how to stop them from scamming you, and to be able to focus your intent mainly on your music. Okay. Now, the next part of this, excuse me, I'm going to go ahead and set down this other camera real quick. So, currently, with us kind of being out here and being live and doing the things that we need to do, right? I want to discuss the newest thing out here. Okay, it's a new craze. Everybody's going to it. Some of these books, right? And I'm going to lay this out here. I've pretty much read about maybe 40 or 50 books in the last 2 months. Okay. thanks to Amazon Kindle, which, by the way, shout out to you guys. You guys are amazing as well. If you haven't checked them out, check out their unlimited package. They have an ability to where you can actually check books out from them and be able to do it online. And it gives you kind of a more of a benefit, especially for those people that are on the go consistently. Excuse me 1 second, folks. I'm going to drink some water. So, now that we're gotten the meat and the potatoes of the whole situation, forgive me real quick while I go ahead and research this book that I just read. Now, mind you, it is on Amazon Kindle, okay? Now, these books, they have basically an avenue for you to research some of the stuff that you really want to know about, how to bring stuff across, things like that. One of the books that I found interesting and something that actually helped me out, so you folks at home can get to it, okay? Number one, this book is called Narcissistic Abuse Recovery, okay? It's a new book, okay? Narcissistic abuse happens to everybody, okay? And usually what it is when you get somebody, whether it's a friend, whether it's a family member, whether it's your girlfriend, your wife, your boyfriend, your husband, whatever, okay, you name it. All different types of relationships, all different types of backgrounds, okay? Now, I stumbled upon this book kind of doing my research, trying to stop people from being scammed, especially those that are independent artists, especially those out there currently that are mainstream artists that have that kind of same fear. Okay, so this book really broke down the specific cycles of people that do these types of things like breadcrumbing and so on and so forth. So in case somebody doesn't know out there that's actually watching my shows, narcissistic abuse is really when you get these people that are close to you or people that come into your life, they choose to utilize their words and they weaponize them to you to a point of no return. And most definitely they do this a lot in relationships right now. And I'm not saying granted, I've had a few relationships that were like this, okay? The individual that I have been on and off in this relationship with, he did not show any of these signs. So a lot of people talk about, well, you know, if you're a survivor from somebody that was a narcissist, then automatically that makes you in your next relationship a trauma bond. Okay, and that isn't true either. It's honestly, research is showing in these books, right? If you take everything that you see or hear seriously, sometimes this research is kind of hit or miss. Okay, it's usually written by somebody who has been through that type of a ringer. Now, when I say that type of a ringer, I mean like their mom or their dad was narcissistic. They pushed them into some sort of a subcategory, and they were always blaming them for something that never was their fault or their burden to carry. Now, they do this from time to time, and basically when they start doing this type of environment and these type of actions towards another individual, especially children, minors, even adults, what they actually are doing is more of a cry for help, okay? And now, granted, there are some people out there, they can complain and say all they want to about me being narcissistic or whatever, okay? I'm going to put it out here like this, right? Number one, I had family trauma. I had people in my life that were very abusive, blame me for their inability to control other people. So what they did was they tried to fashion some sort of a plot, a coup de grace, so to speak, against people, especially myself, to make it look like I'm the problem. Now, I'm going to tell you like this. Number one, if standing on your boundaries as an individual makes you a problem, then hot damn, you might be the reason. Because at the end of the day, when you set your boundaries are mainly for you, yes, okay? But when you start holding somebody else to their standard, and what I mean by their standard, I mean if they turn around and say, hey, look, and we'll put it out there like family relationships, right? Because this is what a lot of people are going through right now. If mom tells dad that basically things are not as it seems, so on and so forth, that they need to stay out of the kitchen because they burnt the toast one too many times, okay? That type of an abuse and that type of pinpointing on one small thread of information is actually what causes generational trauma throughout your families, okay? Now, a lot of people ask, well, how come, you can actually definitively say this? You're not, a psychology major. You're not, you don't have any experience in this. Well, I'm going to tell you, life experiences from my childhood growing up. I've been in churches where I've been defamed as being the devil, a Satan worshiper, or whatever. Okay, all in because of the fact that they could not control the narrative towards me because of something that they feared getting out about myself, about being gay, about being open about who I am, and just being real. And this is stuff that as children, they get to a point when they see this type of behavior with their parents going back and forth like this and doing this to each other, they get an attachment to that, which is actually what a trauma bond is. It's usually when they go towards the parent who was narcissistic in the first place. So a lot of people say, okay, well, you don't have any kids, so how can you say this? Well, I've witnessed this firsthand by coming out here to Philadelphia. I've had people that I have had conversations with that I caught them up in lies to the point where I started seeing little signs of like breadcrumbing and just symptoms that somebody that is from a narcissistic home have seen go through in their normal everyday life. So of course these kids are not going to know any difference when you become that individual, because at the end of the day they only mirror what they see in their parents, the person that they idolize the most. So when they do these types of things, these are the symptoms that you need to start looking out for. Okay, number one, red flags, right? We all talk about them in relationships. Red flags actually are things that help us identify those symptoms in somebody else and their behavior, so that way these things don't come back to us. And it makes us so that way we know who these people are. The common term is like snake in the grass and people doing this, that, or whatever to manipulate other people. Usually when a teenager to an adult does this type of behavior, it's usually because of manipulation, because they're not going to get their way. So instead of throwing temper tantrums like you would see like the Terrible 2 stages, or like even as early as 10 years old all the way up to about 15 or 16, they start seeing all of this behavior. Okay, now this book that I'm talking about talks about how to break those cycles from happening, and a lot of it has to about identifying those types of symptoms and red flags and those things that you would have to look for in anybody that's around you. Now, granted, once you see this, you can never unsee it. Unfortunately, this was kind of the same type of a situation for me. So I had a situation last night. Okay, I had an individual come up and ask me, well, why is there so much hate in this world? Why is everybody so hateful? Why is everybody so angry? I tried to explain this. The gentleman, he wouldn't even let me get a word edgewise in. He kept over talking, the disrespect. So when people ask me questions, right, it is a boundary of mine that when they ask me these things, I have the intent to respond instead of just react. Okay, so a part of responding to any type of argument or situation or questions that actually do come along about this type of conversations that happen, my intent really is to answer the question. And if you don't give me an opportunity to resolve it, and you just, exit out one ear and out the other because you just don't like what you're hearing, my advice to those people is maybe take a step back and listen to what I have to say in terms of signs from a lot of different people. And now I've come to a realization. Sorry, folks. Looks like YouTube went out just for a quick second. But the reason why I actually come out here and I express this information to the public, especially those that have family members that currently are doing these things. When I say breadcrumbing, I'm talking like situations where there is an imbalance, where they're feeding little bits of information here and there. Okay, and they're really not getting to the full picture. So my full picture is this, right? Number one, go read the book, please. This book is super helpful. I'm going to go ahead and pull this back up again. The name is called Narcissistic Abuse Recovery, and it's a guide to breaking free from gaslighting, manipulation, and emotional abuse and becoming whole again. It's about being mindful in any relationship that you have. Yes, they can point out regular relationships, but this is one of those things. This book is by Amy White. Amy White is an amazing author. She did do a lot of her research. I believe that she had to have known somebody that went through the same type of situations, what she's describing. If not, she knew somebody that really did. Because at the end of the day, when people feel like they don't get heard, especially when there is, sorry about this, folks, especially when they feel like there's situations that absolutely need to be heard, it's not so much about getting your way and being manipulative towards situations. It's really essentially, in this circumstance and where I'm sitting at, and the reason why I'm expressing it this way out here to everybody listening is because there's been times when I was actually, when I was working at Syndicate Empire Radio, for an example, right? And I'm trying to bring it across like, hey, I get the gist of this. I know how to operate this. I know how to do this. I know how to record music. I know how to get this stuff out here. And when I approached the person that was supposed to be responsible for this and they didn't listen to this, it caused a whole entire issue. They tried to say this, that, or the third. But in all actuality, that individual, if he would have just sat there and listened, took the time out to really gather the information from me, to know that, yes, number one, I'm not an insider threat to anybody, okay? I actually pose more positive situations and try to help people kind of gather the confidence up to express these things than sitting back and just allowing people to do those negative things to me. It's a part of being proactive. So this book, Narcissistic Abuse Recovery, it kind of helps get past all of those barriers, and it shows you those red flags of these individuals that are doing this. The other part of it is that to kind of tie into the last couple seasons is because when I started seeing all this go around and I started actually putting up my boundaries, it became very clear and absolutely vividly clear that somebody was actually trying to actively manipulate me into saying what they want me to say, why they want me to say it, how they want me to say it. So I'm bringing up this information to the whole world because at the end of the day, we're living in a generation now in 2026 where lying is at an all-time high. Nobody can really tell the truth to save their life unless if it is their life or somebody that they know's life that is in jeopardy. And this type of behavior kind of goes against stuff that even I was taught growing up. Okay. I'm still kind of a little old-fashioned. I believe in the old world of things. Now, I met a older woman in, I want to say, the matter of the last couple months out here in Philadelphia. And I'm not going to say her name just for her safety and her protection, but she did express a lot of things to me that made sense. That our generations nowadays, they're not really getting the idea that what they're doing is they're damaging and hurting society for what it is. And me personally, I have a tendency to agree with it because of the simple fact that I've had people try to even gaslight me, which is really trying to, say mind reading things to me, trying to get me to do things that I normally wouldn't do, to be able to curtail the narrative about me, about who I am as an individual out here. Number one, just because I'm a white person out in Philly, and there's a huge stigma. Okay, if I'm confronting an abusive behavior and I'm confronting it and I go head on with it, and that individual sends other people to follow, make excuses, and even put my life in danger, in jeopardy, all because of the fact that who she was in her community, felt the necessary need to say, oh, well, what makes your religion better than mine? What makes this better than mine? It's not a contest, okay? Everybody's entitled to their opinions, their words, how they say things. It's freedom of speech out here, folks. And this is one of the biggest things out here. And number two, I started realizing the group of individuals that were hired on to do all of this stuff because they did not want their, number one, their drug habits to get out. Number two, they did not even want their sociopathic behavior. Now, when I'm saying this, basically having this woman who claimed to be a Muslim or who is a Muslim in any regard go out there and out of her way to sexually assault somebody like me was something that really, it not only broke boundaries against me, it caused a whole entire mental shift to step back and be able to identify why she was doing what she was doing, why these people were coming at me in certain ways and how they were doing it, and why they kept trying to videotape me doing things that I normally wouldn't do. And even in the case that they thought that I was going to go ahead and go through a whole little cycle of life, that is where they messed up. You see, out here, folks, something that if you've been following me for a little bit, you understand, I did some prison time, right? In order to break some of those cycles down, you have to realize what your criminologic issues are, and you have to be able to stop the recidivism rate. What I mean by that is the reoffense risk for anybody that's out there actively doing these things. Okay, so now you've got a lot of people in the public out here doing some copycat stuff. More recently or not, out here in Philadelphia, there was a gentleman who was running around chasing women at 5-something in the morning. And this is all over the news, which, by the way, shout out to CBS out here and shout out to the major networks. You guys are a blessing in disguise on certain things, okay? And mind you, this is local topics from out here in Philadelphia. It's something that a lot of people tend to see and disregard, okay? The reason why a lot of people try not to want to watch the news, but they kind of get sucked into it, is because they want to know what is going on out there in the world. So small companies like mine, for example, I bring out this information to help those that have been victimized like me, help those from stopping going through that same cycle or process that they went through, so that when these things don't happen anymore. So in essence, I guess you could say that I'm an advocate. I wanted change in my life because of the people that pushed me into this situation were completely narcissistic. They had criminological behaviors. They kept doing these things, and they were intentionally setting fires everywhere. So that way when stuff did come up, they can be like, oh, well, we'll just blame them. We'll blame the past. Having me think that it's the past, but what they didn't realize is that I was already paying attention to what they were doing. It's because of their behaviors that brought those past situations back up for me that made me literally have to re-heal the trauma that was already pushed through me the first time. So, say that to say this, folks. This show is going to be a little bit short, but go out there and check out that book, man. If you don't have access to Amazon Kindle, my suggestion is your local libraries out here in the city of Philadelphia. They have the free library out here. come out here and look at this book. Go check this book out. Even if you have to research it online, order it on Amazon, whatever your guys' main medium of getting this book, read this, because this actually helps stop this type of cyclic behavior that these individuals are trying to push on. The other book that I'm going to challenge you guys to read, and this was another one that I did end up reading it, and I understood why it was written, but it's kind of funny because this book is something that somebody was trying to use against me. And it's called the Dark Psychology Manipulation. It goes hand in hand with narcissistic tendencies, but this book gives a clear-cut identifying match of people's behaviors, not mine, but how you can identify these red flags in some of these narcissists, right? And be able to access it, heal yourself from that trauma, and be able to move forward, especially in the day and age of social media, especially in the day of being able to produce music, do these things, right? So, I'd like to say this. Before I end the show, I want you guys to understand out there, folks, if you have kids, please, God forbid, don't pass those traumas on to your children. Realize that those arguments that you have in front of them, it's going to come back to that parent. Number two, don't ever pit that child against the other parent, because what happens is that child picks up on that type of a conflict and it makes it look or makes them feel like they're the issue, so they have to find ways to act out to do these things and traumatize other people like myself. Okay, so outside of all of that, go ahead and take a look. Check out Chainbreaker Volume 1. By the way, yes, I'm an independent artist. However, due to the fact of Lulu Dream Entertainment having all of the access that they need to be able to operate their business efficiently and fluidly in this country, it made us to be a record label. So, Lacey on the Mic is definitely up underneath Lulu Dream Entertainment. Jonathan Weeks, shout out to you, bro. I'm going to be tagging you in this stuff. Just so you understand, my friend, he is the co-owner as well, but he's also a musician, a really good bassist. He knows what he's doing on the guitar, guys. Now, when I start getting more and more of his videos, I'm going to go ahead and push him out there, and it's going to be on our brand channel. I want to make sure to get him up and ready and up to speed on doing what he needs to do for his music as well. So, say all that to say this, folks. Check out Chainbreaker Volume 1, and I don't know what else to say about it, right? But tune in next week. I'm going to be going over another book that I went through, okay? And in the process of me doing this, in case if you guys are wondering, I am definitely out here in the Philadelphia area, and I'm choosing to be proactive in trying to help stop this type of negative behavior. Basically, so the trash takes itself out, so to speak. So I'm going to end this out with Bedrock Codex, which is my song that I helped build for this company, for this brand, so that way we can bring out the news, we can bring out this information to the public, and be able to help out the city, man. Look, this has gone on for too long in our country, and it needs to change. So stay tuned.
Depending the way out. Principles first, that's the energy. Keeping the loyalty in the vicinity tight. Lulu the vision, the entity. Lulu the movement, the remedy. Lulu the movement, the remedy. Dead on the foundation.
New generation.
Education and elevation. Principles of reputation. Cripples over reputation. Trip like a faucet, I'm spilling. Roof is gone in the building. Keep it 100, I'm genuine. Winning and winning and winning again.
Lulu the Bedrock is ready. Independent and we ready.
Baby, no solid, I'm hard in the cold. Heavy to weight, but I carry the load. Lulu and rock it heavy. Independent every day. I'm moving on. Building the castle on top of the sea. Stone cold. No pendant. No cap. Yeah, slash.
All right, folks, you guys heard it here first. Stay tuned, stay obsessed, and definitely going to be shooting this out here. And stay tuned for the next episode next week. See you guys soon. Peace.